Hey guys, welcome to a brand new show on the Burt Network called Monster Producer. We define a monster producer as a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. And this ties into my most elite coaching program that we have called Monster Producer, a program we created about almost 6 or 7 months ago. We have roughly 40 people in the program, and these are mega producers. It is our most elite coaching program, and so it's only fitting that we have a new show called Monster Producer. People are interested in those that reach mega levels of production. How do they do it? How do they have a life? Maybe they don't have a life. Maybe they get up at 3:30 in the morning. We're going to find all of that out today. So our very first guest I wanted to have on the show is CareyAnnCyr. Okay, and Carey, welcome to Monster Producer.
Yes, thank you.
You're in our program, and I want to tell you this. Your reputation precedes you, because when I started working with mortgage producers, your name kept coming up to me. Well, you got to know CareyAnn. Well, you have to know CareyAnn, right? And so I came over and pitched you one day, but I really didn't pitch you. It was really pitiful on my part because I didn't give you my explanation of services. I kind of let somebody else do that, which was a mistake on my part, right? And then I came back to you and said, I did a pitiful job of pitching you my explanation of services. You saw the value. You joined Monster Producer, so it's a pleasure to meet you and pleasure to have you in our coaching program.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Now, I want to get to the Barbara Walters moments, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to really,
You have some tissues? Yeah.
I want to really dig in here because you did roughly $10 million of production last month in the mortgage space, which is a monster, legendary creature. On track to do 70 to 75 million, which should put you in the most elite mortgage producers in the world, from my perspective, right? And so give us the backstory on CareyAnn, because you're a partnership branch with CMG, right? And you're a sales branch manager. You have people that work under you, but you are a managing producer. So you're both producing and leading at the same time. Give us a backstory on CareyAnn.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do $10 million without an amazing team. So a big congratulations to the awesome team that works so hard every day, for me. But the backstory brings you all the way up north to New Hampshire. So I grew up on the seacoast.
Okay.
And I spent, I'm the oldest of 4 children. I grew up in a really strict but loving household. My dad was in the military, but my mom thought she was the general.
Okay.
So it was a very structured, household. And we just, had a lot of fun. But my mom wanted us to really be well-rounded, so she had us in sporting events, music, volunteering. We were doing everything and anything. And she had her rules. So I grew up very understanding rules, from a young age. And, my dad, who was just amazing, he helped carve out talents. Each kid had a specialty, and so my passion grew to be music, so I was a singer and entertainer for years. And so from a young age, my mom would say that I was always taking, hairbrushes and singing and entertaining, crowds for all sizes. And then my dad got me in, anything and every place I could entertain, from a bar, dive bar to, singing the national anthem at every sporting event up north to him being part of the military allowed me to go overseas and sing for the troops and everything. Okay. So I had my major passion in life and where I thought I was going to pursue was music. So, music brought me down here to Nashville. So I feel really blessed that, music brought me here, and then I was able to fall into the mortgage business. Okay. So
now let's put this together. Firstborn,
right?
Yeah. If we looked at your astrological sign, do you know what that is? Are you firstborn Leo, type A? High D.
Yeah.
So you got all the traits of being real successful,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
All of that drive and ambition. Discipline, talent was music. So how did we go from music, right?
Yeah.
To mortgage?
Yep. So, if you are a musician in Nashville starting out, you're probably serving or bartending as well.
That's right.
And I did go to college as well. So I do have my business degree.
Okay.
So when I came down here, I was serving over at Cozymel's in Brentwood. And, you know, I was about over that after so long. And I was talking to my manager at the time. I was like, you know, I need to be able to use my career and still enjoy music at the same time. And he's like, hey, have you ever heard about the mortgage business? Okay. My wife's an operations manager at the time, CTX Mortgage. Okay. And I said, well, no, don't know what a mortgage is, you know, but hey, love to learn about it. And she's like, well, she'll teach you on Saturdays. Okay. So I went with her every Saturday for a period of time. And you know, that's just where it all started from. And, you know, I feel really fortunate that I was brought into this industry on the bottom level. So I started as the girl who, you know, picked up the coffees and picked up the lunches, you know, moved into inputting applications, you know, in a system called TMO, so that takes you way back. And then, you know, moved into processing. And at the time, back in the day, processors could actually be underwriters, so moved into underwriting conventional loans. And I just knew that I wanted to go to the next level. You know, growing up in a household, we always, you know, we always were kind of, not to train or just say, hey, you can do this, we believe in you. You can be number one. You can be the best at whatever you do. Whether that was me playing tennis, I ended up being number one in tennis in high school. Okay. Whether that was the ski slopes, you know, on the ski team back in high school. You know, I always laugh. I said, I strive to be number one at everything except for my academics. I had a disability in regard to that, but I always hung out with the smartest people in school. Right. So I felt like I was, you know, at least close enough.
Were you a popular kid? Popular, you know, if you were in athletics, and, you know, were you popular? Were you not popular?
You know, I was that wallflower, you know. I think people knew who I was. I'm not sure if I was so-called popular. You know, I laugh, my parents, you know, to keep us grounded and structured, I always thought, or the best sex ed for them basically was to keep their daughters as ugly as possible. So there was, you know, I look back at my high school picture and I'm like, oh Lord, you know, that's a little scary. So, you know, we laugh about that now to think of where we've come from, all of the kids in our family. But, you know, so just always wanting to go to the next level. So when I was with this group, it was great, you know. Starting as a processor, I always laugh, you know, I was the lowest paid processor salary-wise, but I made the most money my first year. Okay. And why? Is because we were bonused, you know, off of production and how hard you would work, you know, and so I would get there at 6 o'clock in the morning and leave, you know, really late at night. And I said, give me the files, you know, I will process more, I'll process more. And so, you know, it was just that carved out drive from the beginning, you know, in this industry. So we took that to sales. I was like, you know what, I can do this. And actually then I said, no, I can't, because that's fully commissioned. How should I take this great salary or great income that I'm making and then all of a sudden go straight to commission? And I'm from New Hampshire and I've been behind a cubicle for 3 years. I don't know anybody in this town, so how am I going to do this, you know? Right. And I remember my dad coming in the kitchen where I lived, and he's, you know, very military, so he laid out all the maps, you know, all these maps and where all the real estate offices were, you know, and he's like, you can do this, you know, just figure it out, you can make this happen. And you know, I did, and it was a long road at the beginning, you know, but it was a lot of people believing me and giving me a chance, you know, and I feel really fortunate about that. And the boss and the mentor that I had, you know, she believed in me so much that I said, hey, give me my own branch. It was small, and she did that. So I really thank her for really believing in me and giving me those opportunities, because I probably wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't fall into the mortgage business or wasn't working at Cozumels, you know, and those types of things. So,
but probably most likely your drive and your hunger and your ambition, they saw that in you. And you also bet on you. You know, there's a lot of people that's going to watch this show. They're in comfortable, secure jobs. They have insurance and benefits, but they're very unhappy, and they will not bet on themselves to be commission-only people. Because a lot of people think, well, you know, we have people that want to sell for me, and they're like, well, you know, I'm leaving this. And I'm like, look, you're not just betting on me. The first sale you're making is to your own self. All I'm providing is the products and services for you to sell and make a great living.
You got to believe in yourself. That's number
That's
one.
right.
You know, whether the music business helped me with this or not, but you know, looking in the mirror, you know, every morning and say, you can do this. I believe in you. You can make this happen. It sounds so crazy, but you have to do it because everybody can believe in you and give you all of these great, amazing tools and all this stuff. But if you don't believe in yourself, you definitely can't do it. You know, and sadly, I gave up on music. You know, and that's probably what keeps me so hungry today is because, you know, I moved being the best singer in New Hampshire, right? Winning all these great awards. And I come here back in '99 and I'm one of thousands, you know, and I've been a blonde from the beginning. So I'm one of many, you know, blondes. And at the time it was Leanne Rimes and, you know, and clearly, you know, my path was going to go a little different. You know, I wasn't strong enough at the time. I wasn't mentally prepared at the time to have somebody tell me my looks were a little off or, hey, you need to lose this weight or stuff like that. And so I decided just to give up on it, you know, and I feel like I let my family down because music wasn't just CareyAnn's passion. I mean, it was the whole household. Everybody was there. This person did hair. This person, you know, carried the equipment. It was a big family affair. And so I think that probably helps drive me to this day is to try to prove that I can do something and stay consistent, you know, with it.
Right. So a little bit of regret about the singing business? I mean, was it cowboy boots and cowboy hats and you, and so obviously did you feel some rejection in that business? I mean, was it because you didn't want to see it through? It looked like a long road to overnight success. Were people telling you need to get better at this? Because I have country music friends that are still playing on Broadway right now. They've been playing for 7 years. And they get up every day and go do it for, and I had a buddy the other night that had like $12 tip in 4 hours at Legends. And he's sitting there and he's playing his heart out. And I'm thinking, I'm looking at him going, what has he got to do to make it? Will he ever make it? Or will it be limited income, pursuing a dream? So for you, was it just a point where you said, I'm checking out, I don't think I can handle it? Other people reject you? I mean, speak to the people about that.
Yeah, so, you know, it was probably a combination of a couple things. You know, my parents weren't given anything. They worked really hard to provide for their 4 children. And we were able to live in a really nice house. We were able to go on vacation every year. So to me, having my business degree, I was at a place where I was like, oh my goodness, I'm at a certain age. What if I can't get to a certain level and provide my children the same luxuries? And at the time, what were those luxuries? You know, a camping trip and, you know, just a nice roof over our heads. So, you know, it was a situation where all of a sudden the mortgage business started taking off, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I can probably do this and I'll sing on the side, you know? And I was really fortunate as a young girl to be able to sing in Germany and Sicily and Bosnia and all these places and really share my gift of music for a period of time. And I always say that chapter in my life, I have great stories to share with my daughter. And so when when the mortgage business just took off, I was like, you know what, this is maybe my calling. Everything happens for a reason. You know, God definitely has a plan. And you know, music brought me to Nashville for me to fall into this huge opportunity, you know, within the mortgage industry.
All right, early in your mortgage career, now you've done everything. You've opened the mail, you've got the coffee, you've been a number 2. Now you got your own little shop, you're doing your own mortgages. Did it take off immediately? Was it year 3? At what year was there a shift that you was like, dang it, man, I can be big in this business?
Sure, yeah. So, you know, back in the day, you know, I'm not sure, I think it was '08 or when everything started going a little sideways. You know, I started in sales right before that happened. So I feel fortunate to be with a company that was the first to go under, but they gave us 90 days and said, hey, FYI, we're going under in about 90 days. So I'm just giving you the heads up. And so that gave us time to find the right home. And I was really surrounded by awesome people. We all came together And we ended up with a great group of folks, a whole team of us, the whole Southeast region came together, and we were able to move to another company that had a lot of support and were really hungry, brand new in the industry, in mortgage market there. And so right then it just gave me another boost of, okay, we're starting again, let's go, And so, and that actually kicked off me having a branch, because at the time, right after that, so many other mortgage companies went under, so they all needed a home. So I was able to adopt probably 10 or 12 loan officers at the time, and it all kind of fine-tuned itself and figured out, who was in it to win it and those types of things. But that kind of started me having a branch, an actual branch, So I look back and yes, the mortgage business went under, but thank you, because I probably would still be doing the same thing. If not, I probably wouldn't have been pushed into being a branch manager with a great group of people so quickly in my career.
Yeah. And you jumped on the opportunity like a cheetah does.
Sure, yeah.
Saw it, seized it right in the middle of a recession where most people, and I say it really separates the pretenders from the contenders. I mean, that's really what a market does. It squeezes out all the pretenders, right? All right. So so far so now we're in 2015, 7 years later. You're on track to do 70 million. Let's talk about the biggest failure. Okay, if you said, man, I really screwed up here in business. Okay, you ain't got to tell me personally. In business, what is it?
I'm a very passionate person.
Okay.
My office calls me positively passionate.
Okay.
So I would think that I've got a lot of fire in me, right? And so one of my biggest failures, I think, is surrounded by my stubbornness, or I'm not going to use the word anger, but fierce passion.
Okay.
And so I probably made some poor decisions. And let my emotions get the best of me at times. And if I was to think of the 2 or 3, even adding personal in that, we're surrounded by those 2 things, meaning I let my stubbornness, just get a hold of me. And so I've learned a lot by those failures in my career, because at the end of the day, everything can be worked out. I always laugh. I said I've been through enough marriage counseling and family counseling and every other counseling. Insurance does not allow me to go back to counseling, because I've been to so much counseling, just so you know. Right. So I've realized and learned, how to work through a problem. Right. I'm very much, can get over it. But, there were some major changes in my career and in my personal life that have made me better today because of those. So I will find myself not as passionate anymore from that standpoint.
So you know when to put the brakes on.
Yeah.
And we have a show around this monster concept. I did a workshop the other day called Working for a Monster. And we don't define a monster obviously as a negative thing. It's just it's very ambitious.
Sure.
It's a Carey-Ann. I mean, you are the monster, right? In a good way. So, but sometimes it's difficult to work for me, you, and so I've had to shift gears in that area, let a few things go, or I just be unbearable all the time, right?
Sure, right.
Is that what you're talking? Could it be difficult working with you?
I've been told. Okay. Yeah, I've been told. The old Carey-Ann and the new Carey-Ann, are 2 different people. Okay. I was so hungry, so driven for that ultimate goal that it didn't care who was in front of me. I just was going to.
There were a lot of elbows.
I was going to take them out.
They were like, my kind of girl, kind of girl. That's probably why we like each other so much.
I know, I love it. But, it's funny, I talk to some people and they're like, oh, Carey-Ann, she's hard to work with, and not anymore,
right.
And I also think that I've been learned through coaching and other people is you hire people with the disc, we hire basically just and put people in positions based upon what they're the strongest at, you know. And so I am a D. I am this piece of the pie. And so I need to fill the rest of the pie with strong people and let them do their job. I will let them be in their lane and I will stay in my lane. And it's hard. Sometimes I fall off the wagon and I have to be reminded. But we continue to keep it going. And I think that has allowed us to excel so strongly with our numbers just due to really focusing on everybody staying in their lane.
Well, you have a very high reliability in the market. I ask people, one of the reasons people come to you because of your of that drive. They know you'll get it done. They know you'll answer the phone. They know you wake up at 3:30 in the morning. I mean, that is a big plus, right? So I'm not going to ask you to share your explanation of services on camera because I don't want to put you on the spot, right? But if I were to ask you what you believe, what your philosophy is about the business, when you sit down with a new person and say, here's what Carey Ann believes, here's what at CMG we believe, and if you believe it too, let's do business with each other. What do you say there?
Yeah, so I, was brought up a long time ago to be true to my word. My word is all that I have. And so I train with everybody, whether it's, the person answering the telephone. If you're going to tell them we're going to call them back, we need to stay true to that. From, a processor to our closer to all of the loan officers. We have to stay true to our word. So if I told you that you're going to close on this particular day, that has to happen. I learned a long time ago that you can bankrupt your business by having successful customers, right? And I was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I really learned it, sometimes the hard way, because those people need to be wowed, right? And so staying true to your word and going the extra mile to definitely wow every customer that we have is so important. I tell the team all the time, we are only as good as our last closing. It doesn't matter how many closings we have, but if we, come up short on that one closing, that's just not, the expectation level is better. We can do a little bit better. And so, never missing a closing date is another thing that I stress. That's just key. I will do everything and anything in my power to make sure that occurs. And it comes back to playing the game. I always laugh, if we're going to close a loan in 21 days, it takes this much time to do this much time to do this much time to do this. There's no reason why anybody in this industry or in our field misses closing dates, because we all have the same amount of time, to be able to do that. It just makes sure we structure and manage our time, in the way that we can make that, the closing occur. And so, staying true to our word and, never missing a closing day and always doing the right thing. Sometimes we get customers that, are coming at us a certain way, and I understand that this is the biggest debt that they're ever going to have, and they are very overwhelmed, and so they can say some things that they probably shouldn't say, and they could probably do some things that they probably shouldn't do, and at the end of the day, I stress that the customer is right. We need to make sure that we do the right thing for the customer. If we tell somebody that they're going to come into closing with zero out of pocket, we need to make sure that they're zero out of pocket. They don't come to the table with any more money. So no surprise is another big thing. Communication is key. You should be able to let everybody know early on. Somebody told me, bad news is okay. Just tell me early.
Tell me up front.
And so I learned that a long time ago, and you just need to share the message that it's good, bad, or ugly early on. So.
All right, so in our program right now, in this Monster Producer program, we've got a 50 million producer, 60 million producer, $70 million producer, okay? What, number one, are you a zebra or a cheetah? One looks different and one runs faster. If you had to classify yourself as one of those animals and you couldn't say chebra, that you're both.
Ooh, I like that
which one would you be? Because I'm a cheetah. I mean, I know I do some different things than other people, but really the way I win is my mindset of attack, okay?
Yeah.
So which one are you, zebra or cheetah?
Yeah, I'm definitely probably a zebra.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab and go.
Okay.
I'm gonna look and find, and I'm gonna make it happen. I get excited to have a goal and try to achieve that goal. I get really excited to hear that somebody's having a difficulty with another lender, and it's denied. I'm like, bring it on, bring it on. And so, we do a lot of the denials in town, and they're not really denied folks, meaning they are deserving families that should be approved. It's just, and it goes back to me having that background in operations for so many years ago. It allows me to look at a file and go back and use those skills that I had and say, you know what, actually the guidelines read this, or the tax returns, loan officers look at tax returns sometimes and they get very overwhelmed because they're this big, and really you're only looking at 3 pages, and it's a very approvable loan. So I get excited about that. It gets me, I would love to go faster and capture as many deals as we can and help as many families as possible. So.
All right. So with somebody producing at your levels, there's a couple things people ask. why would somebody like you get in a coaching program like Monster Producer? That's question number one, right? Because I hear a lot of people say, I already know it. I'm already producing this level. I don't have time for coaching.
Right.
And obviously that just pisses me off because I think we saw logs all day long, but we seldom take time to sharpen the saw. And if you're doing 70, the big person says, I can maybe do 100. You know, so the time, I hear that a lot. I don't have time. I already know what I'm doing. So why would a person like you get in a coaching program?
You know, coaching is key. You know, I've been coached for a really long time, you know, and then I felt like I could do it. And one of the big things with coaching is accountability. So by me coming to your class once a month and being part of the coaching, it holds me accountable, right? So, and I get so excited to learn something new. I mean, there is so much stuff that I don't even know. You know, I can learn something and execute it. That's a big word, is execution. You know, a lot of people, and you know, you train on all kinds of great things, all kinds of amazing ideas, and then probably one out of what, 50 execute, right?
That's right.
And so somebody taught me a long time ago, all you have to do is just execute. You know, it doesn't have to be this amazing, you know, formula. It's just
do it.
You know, just do it. You know, I mean, it's so simple.
That's right.
And so when it was hard, it's very, very difficult. You know, I want to excel to be the best wife I can be, the best mom I can be, you know, and the best businesswoman that I can be. And there is only 8 hours in the day. I always laugh. Back in the day, you know, when we were younger, we're like, okay, can it be 5 o'clock? Now we're like, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock.
It's 5,
what am I supposed to do? I got to feed my daughter in you know, in an hour. And, you know, I got all these people to call back. So, you know, finding balance is you know, so important. And so I am so busy, you know, do I have time to drive to Murfreesboro and see you, you know, 2 hours once a month? Yes, you know, I can find the time if it's important to help me go to that next level. So you've taught me in the last 3 months two major things that have changed me so far, you know, and that's really exciting for me. And so I never thought that I could ever hit $50 million.
Right.
You know, to hit 24 million when I first started out was huge, like huge. To then to be able to win a producer's trip was amazing. You know, to then hit 50 million and then to hit, you know, 60 million, and we keep growing. And it's just so exciting, you know, to see where we can go with it. So.
All right. So that's good. Thank you. And thank you for being coachable. You are very coachable. And I love working with you because I can see, you know, I remember one class we had in session 2, and I could just see that there was a big breakthrough that happened. You know, it's like, okay, I got something today. and you know, if you just get something, big producers like you are very hard to coach because you've seen everything. You've been to every coaching program. So I don't expect a movie like this. I expect you to walk away and get just that much more advantage. And that's all you need to get to the next level. All right, big question here. Your big aspiration. You're at 70 million. You know, you got a family. You use the word balance, which I'm assuming is very hard for somebody who has the drive you have. What's the big aspiration? You said, this is it, man. This is what I'm going for at CMG. Is it 100? Is it more time off? I mean, what is your big aspiration?
You know, the great thing about the mortgage business is if you work harder, you make more, right? I mean, and so your income limits are just, you can hit any number, okay? So I've been very fortunate to hit great numbers, you know, from that standpoint. So my life is a little bit different now, you know, being a mom of a 2-year-old. And, you know, so my big aspiration in life is to really be able to find balance and be able to find a way to be an awesome mom to my daughter, you know, a great wife, and also, you know, just a top businesswoman. So if we can hit, you know, $70 million and I can have a life and really utilize the word vacation.
Actually be on vacation,
you know, be on
vacate.
vacation. Yeah, and, you know, take some time to really enjoy what we've been working for, you know. That would be one of my big aspirations.
Well, good. Well, CareyAnn, you are a very enlightened person. I appreciate our relationship and friendship. Thank you for being a Monster Producer, and thank you for being our very first Monster Producer.
Thank you so much
New
for
program,
having me.
Monster Producer. This is where I spend time with legendary creatures, I use that word loosely, that use multiple skill sets to dominate market. So thank you for watching the Burt Network, and thank CareyAnnCyr, CMG Partnership Branch, acting producer and manager, on track to do $70 million this year. If a person wanted to know more about you and CMG, where do they go?
Yeah, you can reach us at our phone number. That's the best, is 615-456-4456, or you can check us out at cmgfinancial.com.
And all over Facebook, you're posting every day.
Yeah,
I mean,
try
she's
to.
a monster, man.
I learned that from a coach.
She's a monster. Yeah, you beat it up. I love it. Okay, all right, guys. Until next time, go out there and be a monster producer.